Hello, everyone, to the North American Future Card Play Fight Ancient World live stream, where I supposedly have the best of the best of Ancient World here to discuss it.
Supposedly.
Yeah, we're missing someone in particular. I wish who could have made it, but
Yeah,
what it
we're
is.
down. We're down a couple, but we're here for you. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. So, what part of Ancient World should we discuss first?
Well, I think when most people think of Ancient World, even though it's not the one that's like relevant, people want to play Seeger. It's just a thing.
Don't we
Everyone
all
wants
want to play Seeger?
Everyone wants to be Super Seeger.
Uh,
Dun dun dun. Mhm.
like
Yeah,
And his name is John Seeger.
I've
like,
been looking for
I'm-
that one again, but I couldn't
I gotta
find
say,
it.
I hate the fact that Seeger, while fun, isn't really super competitively viable. I guess I'd say, just because it's the anime deck. Like,
Yeah.
Genma's awesome, Seeger's awesome in the anime, and it makes you want to play it. And
Mhm.
then when you do, you just kind of wonder why you aren't playing like Lord's Mix or Raging Spirits or something.
Like, it got better with Buddy All Stars, at least.
Yeah, it got a couple of boosts between
Yeah.
Buddy All Stars and the set before. What was which one was
Omni
that?
Lords.
And filled up the
yes.
Omni Lore. Yeah.
They got a couple of really big boosts there, but even so,
It's why aren't you playing every other variant of Ancient
Yeah.
World?
essentially,
Yeah.
Like,
Like it's not even like the draw was always Tempest Enforcer, but
mhm.
The problem with
every
Tempest
deck
Enforcer-
is Burn Nova now.
right?
Yeah.
And the problem with Tempest Enforcer is like before this stuff, Tempest Enforcer almost never hit the field. You either won the game or lost the game. Normally before Tempest Enforcer really even hit.
That's true. Spartan was always the draw.
Yeah, Spartan, again, I've played.
Although I admit, like when I first looked at the Seeker cards,
Uh-huh.
I was bad, and I thought Tempest Enforcer let you put Spartan into the soul and had a soul guard.
Yeah.
No, like,
There you go.
I knew that didn't happen. No, what was it? I gonna say, no.
But then I was informed that I was wrong, and I was like, why did I think that?
Obviously, what you have to do is buddy Tempest Enforcer and use Ultimate Buddy.
Bloody Tempest Enforcer, too good.
No, but even how Seeker's still a bad deck, it's gone the distance since Immortal Entities. It's gone the distance.
It did. Like it's not that thing you play just because it might have an okay matchup against Dungeon.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
it's more consistent. It doesn't take 9 gauge to evolve because you have Dual Seeker SD, which is
Right.
amazing.
you have Dual Seeker that makes it a 6 gauge card, like Evolution Chain, and then you have the a Zoera Guard clone.
Yeah, the Renner Yusho was a huge boost for that deck just because it kind of let Seeger go turbo, as if
Mhm.
Seeger wasn't turbo enough already.
Yeah,
It's just
again,
like, all right, drop this 3-crit, no-cost monster, attack, kill it, gauge, boom, right into a 3-crit double-attacking monster. Next turn, you can go from that 3-crit double-attacking monster into a 3-crit triple-attacking monster with Penetrate.
That was actually one of my losses at regionals was to combo Seeger.
I've always wanted it to happen, but I've only ever seen it happen. And that's someone do 2 attacks with Spartan, and then do that for 3 more attacks with Tempest and Force.
It's really hilarious because I am convinced that I win against the 2 Seeger players at that event.
I've done it a few times. It's not unheard of to do that with the deck. That's the.
I know it's
essentially
not
winning
unheard
image,
of.
so-
I just again, it's like every time I touch Seeger, I always win or lose with Spartan. Like,
Mhm.
no, I either win with Spartan or lose with Tempest Enforcer. That's it. Like I can do 3 attack with that Tempest Sorcerer, somehow my opponent survive, and then like kill it through the cheapest way possible. Like it's so sad that back in Immortal Entities era, I had a friend who just thunderstormed it to Seeger to death.
Oh god, yeah, they can do that, and it's happened to me before. It feels really bad. Although it's got to feel worse nowadays to bring out this huge beefy dragon, and then all of a sudden your opponent just like, all right, pay gauge, call Bladewing SD, you lose the game.
Yeah, and then DDW's ace in the whole Greybard every time.
Oh God! Don't talk about Greybard. I can't handle it. I lost to that like twice on Buddy Night Wars. Like both times I was on, I went against Justin G and I got Greybarded 3 times in a game.
I used to have nightmares about Greybard until one specific grade 3 that I assume we'll talk about at some point tonight.
No.
Yeah.
We'll talk about like 100 Demons. When I was doing it at WCQs, I got like only 1 loss through the whole event to the last round when I was facing Greybard deck.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Yeah,
it's really good. When I was at Continentals a year ago after this last Spring Fest, and we were just sitting around in the lobby playing each other, and I was doing pretty well against most of the players there until this Vanguard player comes over. And he's just like, hey, you play Buddy Fight? I wanna fight you. And I had never played against size 3 Darkness Dragon World before, to be honest. So I put down Diablos and just proceeded to lose horribly.
Because Greybard just dropped.
Greybard destroyed my life.
I know.
I had to rebuild from there. From that day.
Like it's sad that before like Justin Gee topped like New York with Greybard size 3 Darkness Struggle, we saw Greybard and we thought this was a good card. But then that happened, and the Nightmare Greybard just happened throughout history now.
I mean,
I wish that deck had never gotten popular just so I could have a little bit more rest at night.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like, I think 4 Greybard is like mandatory in any Darkness Dragon World deck.
It's
maybe
like
not nowadays, just because, what is it? Neggle balls?
Negro balls.
I'm trying to think of what they translate.
Size. Yeah, it's Negervols pretty much. Size 2 Greybard that puts that Greybard effect on every card you use. Like Death Grips are counter speed Greybards.
You've got like on attack kills, you've got on call kills, you've got just free spells that kill things. Like it's ridiculous, and it's not once per turn.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
about spells that kill things. Let's move on to the deck that doesn't worry about spells that kill things.
That sounds like a good idea.
So we're talking about Arcaniel now.
Arcanseal, yeah.
This guy right here. Isn't he beautiful?
Skittle Dragon, go.
Taste the rainbow, or he'll taste you.
There were people who said that wild dragons would never do things. And they still don't do things, but Arcanseal does.
That's right. The Wild Dragons as a deck, while fun, and I don't know if we'll even talk about Wild Dragons. I'm not very good at them. But anyway, there's one Wild Dragon, at least, who gets the job done.
Well, speaking of, like, just Wild Dragons in general, that guy, until, my 2 losses was the guy that forced me to have to go into, like, overtime to win that game.
Against Wild Dragons?
Yeah. Because just Arcaniel's double attack just was blowing through my defenses.
Yeah, he's strong. When you can't counterattack him, or there's a whole lot of stuff you can't do against him. But he just sits there.
Yeah.
He dares you to kill him, and then you don't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I won that game through the strongest Lindworm top deck I've ever had. I'm like I could Intersetsu Ryu to kill this thing, but I'm going to lose if I do. So let's Lindworm, discard it, boom, Yamigeto.
Like the one thing, the problem with Arcanseal that I've seen, I don't know if it actually is. Though we know that one thing's a thing, and that's you have to draw one of a 4 of card in your deck.
Yeah.
And like, do they have any? I sound stupid. Does the deck have a way to like recur it or like to keep going?
It's just like you draw one of your 4 Arcanials, and that thing just doesn't die.
Yeah, I don't know about in Wild Dragons, but in the Lord's Mix deck that runs Arcanseal, it runs Diablos, it runs Severius. You have at least three Ultimate Buddy in there. So you've got Arc-and-Seal that kind of, you shove Ultimate Buddy in there, you start shoving in things like...
Dragon equals 1,000.
Yeah, Dragon against 1,000 is pretty much the big thing. So suddenly you've got this huge Arc-and-Seal that refuses to die, and as he refuses to die, it starts adding cards back to your hand. So it's just like, every other attack is Nullify with Glacies, alright, lose 1 soul, grab Glacies, Nullify again. Meanwhile, you're getting all the gauge in the world with for Volca.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then when it comes to just Wild Dragons, he's effective in there because you can steady Dragon Strike, an effective 1 or 2 you're going to need, double attack with that Feint for a turn or 2, and then when it dies, you have a triple formation set up.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Arc-and-Seal is definitely one of the it's in my opinion the really scary build Ancient World has that isn't a Raging Spirit deck.
Mm-hmm.
He is powerful. And when built around him, you can do some really silly stuff with him.
Yeah, and while Wild Dragons don't do anything, they're at least now playable as a deck.
They're though just I don't think you'd run anything in that deck that has less than 2 crit. Even the size 0 is a 2 crit.
Yeah, the size 0 is great. Elmos is great. Your 3 critters are great. Their Dominion Rod's ridiculous.
Yes, that weapon is so good. It's just like, all right, you know the only drawback to these cards? Yeah, they don't have that anymore.
Yeah, and then if I get the set spell out, boom! Now I have a Sauna Green Sawn now.
Suddenly,
they have the potential with like a bit more to be just a really good like standard buddy fight deck. That just weapon in the center, guys on the sides. You'll draw your You'll draw your Dawn of Distant Days and put him in the center and just be good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we get to Raging Spirits.
Yes.
The money cards that
Yeah.
you all came here to see when you heard us say that Seeger wasn't playable.
We say Raging Spirits, but like, how many Raging Spirit builds are there? I can think of at least 3 off the top of my head.
Yeah, like I'm thinking 3 on top of my head as well.
Yeah.
These guys, like, okay, which one do you guys want to talk about first? Because we have options.
We have options. Let's start back in the beginning when we just had aggro control.
Yeah, good stuff, Ancient Spirits. I still like that variant a lot, but that's just because I go against a lot of like tankier decks, but yeah, it's basically it was basically Ancient World's like attempt to be a regular buddy fight deck.
Yeah,
like you had your size 3 that you put to the side, your weapon, and your size 0 on the other side.
Yeah, which was our Lord and Savior Ricky.
That back when that was the one.
Yeah.
He's still good, but he's got a lot of competition.
We thought he would be an auto-include, just always the buddy, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not so much anymore.
Yeah, that changed now, but...
Now that they have a 3 crit size 0.
Yeah.
3 crit size 0, they've got a size 0 that essentially acts as an attacking soul guard.
Yeah.
There are size 0 options in Raging Spirits nowadays that are so good that like they're amazing and you still can't even play them. Like you have a size 0 that's on call gauge 1. Like what deck wouldn't give their left arm for a card like that?
I know, like, yeah. Then there's like, we had the 3 crit one, but then like let's not forget before that we had Lesser, which gave an extra crit to any when you had a 3 on field.
Yeah. So you've got 3 crit from him. You've got 3 crit from Cut Billy.
Yeah.
Like you've just got all of the damage suddenly on the field.
Yeah, and then like even our Omni Lord like is great as a buddy sometimes because of having 2 life.
Like you can do stuff like, you know, the really situational top deck into Dragon Emperor Legend, draw into Divine Dragon Creation, boom. Suddenly you have 2 cards in your hand that you can't do anything with because both of them cost a life and you're back at 1. But yeah, the biggest thing is that you can burn Nova and then go straight back into Dawn.
Yeah.
That's a 10 crit field. No,
Yeah.
sorry,
7 crit
7
field.
crit field. Forgot he was only 2 crit, and I'm holding the card.
Yeah.
And then you'll call the that other good size 0 we have from the drop zone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you have that, or like, hey, let's say you had like 3 of those Raging Spirit set spells that gave your sides a K attack and defense. Boom, you've just searched your deck out 3 threes, 3 zeros.
That was always a card that I've like been so on the fence about because like it's theoretically like it's really good,
Mm-hmm.
but like there's no space in this deck.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's my biggest problem. Is like I have this Wall Spirits deck built right now, and it's amazing. I love it, and I hate that I can't run Banryu Futo because like you using the Burn Nova, you get those size zeros, you get huge stats, and it's a wall deck. You think, oh man, this gives stats. That's good, and it is. But then like there's just no room. It hurts so much. There's no room.
Like Raging Spirits are just one of those decks, like a lot of Dragon World decks that are like, you know, if this was a 60 card minimum game, this deck would be stupid.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's like, oh, I'll just add in Banryu Futo, maybe a few more destruction spells, whatever.
Yeah,
Because we have a lot of those that we can
Yes.
play that most
And
decks would
that's the
kill
thing is-
for.
I know.
Those,
Like,
those are, like, even those, which are amazing, you've got, especially Dragon Thunder, this costless thing that can snipe all kinds of monsters.
yeah,
There's not
I
even
like Ryuboku Shihai better.
yeah. I play 3 Rukubiya Shihais and 2 Dragon Thunders.
Like one of the big deals I like about the good stuff deck is that it actually has some space to play those cards because they're so good.
Yeah,
Right.
you have that. You have Prudent. You have Baby Ricky. Like the deck, it has ridiculous amount of defense.
Yeah, my biggest thing I freaked out about Ryuboku Shihai when it came out was just because I was pretty much dedicated to Diablos at the time. And I was just like, oh, the worst thing is that there's so little passive life gain. I can't really run, what is it, Dragon
Dreams.
Lucian. Dragon Lucian.
Okay.
+2/+2 and gain a life, just because it doesn't really do anything for you. Most of the time that's not going to make a numbers difference. But
Yeah.
then suddenly we have this counter destruction card that can kill problems like Tetsuya or whatever,
Yeah.
and you gain life.
hmm Yeah, and then we have Dragon Prudent, which is ridiculous.
Dragon Prudent is just like, man, if they built that card for Raging Spirits, I feel, because it's just like,
Oh yeah. It's just like you have an open center, despite not having an open center. So go ahead and nullify whatever you want.
yeah.
hmm
Like there was a point where like I was like, do I just cut out the size 2 nullify? Because like, why am I losing life when I don't need to lose life? I never got to that point. Though honestly, I'm thinking about it even more now that there's just no space for things, especially
One of the
Wall
biggest things
Spirits.
nowadays is there's so much. I don't know how much this will continue into the future, but right now there's just so few people playing spell nulls.
hmm
So that was one of Glacey's biggest things was, well, it can't be spell nulled. You're not going to get cheesed out of a game just because they paid 2 gauge. So, but
I mean,
nowadays, maybe
There's one spell null that's commonly run now, the Star Dragon World Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
then,
like,
like, you have to wonder how many people have Star Dragon, because
That's
we
true.
won't get into the whole Aster thing, but
Okay.
Aster is a well-known card. It's a popular card.
Yeah.
So many people are just
Yeah.
saying, you know, if I'm going to play Star Dragon World, I need Aster. And then Aster's so expensive,
hmm
who builds the deck?
yeah, like,
So many people are deterred just because of the cost of the deck.
yeah,
Like honestly, I think Star Guardian Jackknife is being super expensive also is another huge
Yeah.
thing.
It's being a triple from a set that maybe so many people didn't buy is it's painful.
I know it's not like guaranteed or anything, but like again, it's just how my feeling with Bushroad.
Yeah.
Like, do you expect that we'll have more raging stuff, or do you think like with season 3 we're not ragings are done?
Honestly, what I want to see is for them to flesh out Inma Alliance. Like, one of my favorite cards in the entire world is completely unplayable. It's Regent Horn.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
the potential that that card represents for like a Lightsworn-ish type deck, where it's just like milling or selective, like dropping things for abilities.
Hmm.
Like I love the idea of that. Something like using what is the card? I forget the name. That is gauge one and drop 2 cards from your deck.
Like,
Yeah.
If I could do that, gauge one and then like drop something that's like draw a card, or drop something that's like destroy a size 1 or less.
Hmm.
for Enma Alliance, it's like it's really sad
Yeah.
that
We only.
that Commandant is so reliant on just being the triple attack ganker.
Yeah.
Because like it had so much cool potential to be like the original Yamigeto, where I can get all the effects of the cards.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like a fleshed out Enma Alliance deck that would just drop him and then be able to discard their size 1s things for cool
Yeah.
effects.
That was like one of the big things, is they were like, Bushiroad hadn't revealed Commandant's ability yet, and they were like, he's gonna do something with gaining the abilities of other Raging Spirits. It's like, all right, cool. Then they reveal the card that's like gain a gauge, drop 2 monsters from your deck. So right there, it looks like maybe he can like temporarily gain abilities from the drop zone or something. But nope,
Yeah.
he ends up just being this OTK machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to like run him without like going for the gank play because his defenses are okay, but he has that lifelink 5
Yeah.
where it's like you just want to win.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're worried because there's so much destruction in the game. It's just like if I keep him around, like maybe I have 2 or 3 cards to keep him, but any kind of penetrate's really gonna hurt me. Heavy destruction is gonna hurt.
I can't use prudent.
Yeah.
It's just we might as well talk about that deck since we brought it up.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Raging OTK.
Yeah.
It's a brutally effective deck.
Yeah.
That it's pretty much the ultimate glass cannon in Buddy Fight.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's for people who don't know, it is taking the ability of Commandant Enma and discarding the original Enma, which lets him get Enma's triple attack. So
Yeah.
he's a
Triple
3
attack.
crit with penetrate, attacking you 3 times.
Yeah.
Kind of like Seeger, except easy.
Yeah.
And then you have his support cards. So you've got stuff like charging headfirst Ricky, who just casually gives a crit to your size 3. So suddenly you use Loyal Dragons and Courage to call those out. You got a full field with a triple attacking 5 crit penetrate monster in the center.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He ends games faster than most people realize he's on the board.
Yeah.
Like,
and then if it's like.
When you go against an Ancient World deck, you don't really expect the game to last as long as if you were playing against Dungeon Knights.
Yeah.
Right.
But he just does that,
Yeah.
and it's kind of neat. You have to run a lot of bad cards though. Like
Yeah.
it's very much a combo-based deck. You have to run Ancient World's shitty Raging Spirit Searcher.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things, is having to run Encounter.
Yeah.
Like, it's... I really want to like Encounter, but that discard 1 is brutal. Like, I know Call Super Machine is a busted card and shouldn't exist,
Yeah.
but the fact that Brave Machines over here can pay 1 gauge to search anything, including a 4-gauge spell,
Like
and we have to discard a card to search any monster.
any specifically size 3. We can't get size 1s. We can't get size 0s. We can't get like anything
Yeah.
flexible.
Like if it was just any raging, then I feel like it would have been a.
Yeah, it would have been
Like,
probably not
because-
wrong things, but it would have been fine.
At least if you could search Ragings, you could search this.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Like,
weapon searcher,
maybe
please.
maybe then.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's pretty much there for Enma Alliance. I feel like it was considering it came out in that triple trial deck,
That's
feels
true.
like it was really designed to work with that deck.
Yeah.
So pretty much it blends into that whole glass cannon thing. You're getting rid of resources to
Just-
consistently get that set up. So you're pretty much putting all your eggs in one basket. You win that turn or you die the next.
Yeah. Which is admittedly kind of, which also ties into the fact that it is a huge glass cannon. Like, it dies very much to tanky decks that can survive its turn, especially other Raging Spirit decks that got to drop their Billion Knuckle or Omnimodai or a lot of other things that don't rely on basically any tanky deck that either doesn't have counterattack or has a size or has things in the center. Like, if you can avoid that, the deck does very little, it feels.
Yeah.
Besides flounder and die.
Yeah.
Like if you're not facing, again, like your hard matchups, which is like Fifth Omnis, Omni Die, other Raging decks, then the deck...
It's very powerful, but like it's also very expensive to build, and it doesn't have like it doesn't have a really easily way to run through a tournament if you're looking at it from a competitive standpoint.
If
you're looking at it for fun, I would also avoid doing it because you will not have any friends after playing.
That's a good point. Although I gotta say, on the cost scale, it's actually gotten a lot cheaper with these recent reprints.
Yeah.
And then like
that's Ancient World in general. I'm talking about picking up 4 Burn Novas.
5 Burn Novas, potentially.
Yeah, that's
4 to
also
5
true.
Burn Novas. Because that's what I do, is I just do Buddy OG Burn Nova. Just so I have that life cost for anything.
Yeah. I'm always that guy that tries to hide what deck I'm playing, so I'll run like a Buddy like a Cut Billy the 3 crit size 0.
Yeah.
Because like one of the big things I feel about Commandant that's like the reason why he could be really good is that he's a surprise.
Yeah.
You could like start out with a Buddy Cut Billy, call a Billion Knuckle or a Lead Bangers, and pretend you're playing a different deck, and then suddenly, bam, bam, I win.
I don't know. I don't like Lead Painter, but I do like Champion Knuckle, along with Edge Knuckle.
But Lead Bangers has 7k defense.
But
Lead
Banger is the better card by itself. But when Champion Knuckle, and Manova already has the Penetrate, all you need is a double attack if you're not drawing OG Burn Nova for
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But like, I also like the fact that he costs less gauge to call, so you're more easily able to transition into the drop.
Yeah, that's why I run him as my backup in Wall Spirits, just because if they've managed to burn through all of my resources to get through a Billion Knuckle, then my best bet, pretty much, to reclaim the game, to maybe seal it out, is that Lead Bangers over something like Champion Lord.
Yeah, and Raging on DK, if the best bet is when you do that triple attack and they survive, and if you survive them attempting to kill your Burn Nova, dropping an Edge Knuckle is the greatest feint ever.
Cool. Edge Knuckle is pretty entertaining, just because it's just like, all right, you expected me to triple attack you, but it's just like, actually, you can't nullify this, GG.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't run either Lead Bangers or Edge Knuckle in mine, but again, mine was pretty untested. I was running Champion Lord as my backup, just for that double attack.
Yeah. I got really annoyed at Champion Lord just because he kept getting pillar fired. And I couldn't handle it after a certain point. So I swapped him for Muravakshin in my aggro control, and I swapped him for, and then I swapped him out for Lead Bangers once he came out. But
if we're going to talk about just Raging Spirits for a second, can we talk about the biggest disappointment, which was Everlock?
Everlock?
How
disappointing he was.
His problem is that he came out so late. Like, if he'd come out when he was supposed to, like, if he'd come out when Japan had him, he'd have been great. Back then, if he was going against a wall deck, pretty much it was him versus something else. But nowadays, so many decks have size zeros and other stuff that they can pull out that he's just not impressive at all.
Yeah.
And then, what do we think of Gain SD?
Gang SD, I think, is not a good card.
I don't really like him either.
I don't like Lifelink 2 on my size zeros.
Yeah.
I don't. And I feel like for what he does, I'd rather just have a cut Billy.
He's very, very counter-killable.
Yeah.
So even if you have him protected by one of the redirectors, he's still extremely vulnerable.
Mm-hmm. It'd have been neat if he like counted as a size, if he counted as a size 3 while being a size 0, so you could like give him the extra crit with charging head first
or
and
just have Ricky reduce his life link.
yeah. That also would have been really good.
Mm-hmm. You have a triple formation of a size 3 gang SD and Ricky. That would be something.
And then how do you feel about us having the worst inverse from the inverse set?
Venom Nova.
I'm not completely convinced he's worse than Catastrophe Cord, but he's still really, really bad.
He's up there in terms of bad inverses.
No, see, Catastrophe Cord to me is playable compared to Venom Nova.
Yeah. Venom Nova, you can build a deck around Venom Nova, and you can win games, I think. His problem is he's just kind of disappointing any way you look at him. So he doesn't have any double attack and no way to gain it, unlike Common Dawn. So you get that 1 3 crit attack, 3 crit attack. Let me talk. Okay, a turn, and that's it. And then his only ability is the ability to keep himself on the field, or else you take that lifelink 5. So you don't draw into any of your Gauge Excel.
Having inherent destruction potential, would be good. Would be really good. Like say if he was a solid defender, if he was able to soak some link attacks into his ability to drop the defense. But he's 6K defense.
Yeah, if he
gets punched by size 1s.
It hurts him so bad.
Yeah.
Like anything can hit him.
Like it's sad that the fact that if he had 1K more defense, he would have been better. Because 7K defense at least requires some link attacks.
Mm.
Yeah, like 7K requires some link attacks. 8Ks generally half the time require a link attack, and 9 above require a link attack all the time.
Yeah. Like you go against a deck like Armor Knights, and they're just going to rip through him so quickly.
Oh my god.
And
like double attack Iblis with Cerberus SD, double attacking 10K weapon. Like,
and he, in my opinion, is like the worst Raging Spirit that DDW just destroys every day.
Oh man.
Like
just having to pay that gauge to keep him on the field every time he's destroyed while you're taking that just brutal burn damage.
Mm-hmm. And then just double attacking it through size 3 DDWs 1,000.
And even then, even with all of that, he'd still be okay if he was able to be used in the decks that actually could work with a close center.
Yeah.
He's a Raging Spirit, the build that's designed to have an open center, designed with good weapons, designed to have size zeros that support having a closed center. Generally designed to be a deck that's like he's designed as a Dragon Lord when he's not. He can't get the card. He can't use a lot of cards that would make him playable.
Like if he was an Omni, like if he had the standard Raging redirect effect, I think that also would have made him.
Oh yeah, if he was on the side, he'd be great.
Yes, that's the thing, is having that redirect attack would forgive so many of his flaws, because 6K defense, like the 6K defense is inexcusable. That's stupid. It shouldn't exist. But like his ability to keep himself on the field would be more relevant. Being over to the side means he can't be penetrated. Like, why? Why would you design him so poorly?
There's so many failures in his design that keep him from being at least I could see playing this. I could see like doing something with this card.
Like if you fix like one of like 5 major flaws, like one of his 5 major flaws, then he becomes a playable card.
It's a train wreck.
Yeah,
it's kind of disappointing.
It's sad that Burn Nova, like his evolutions are so disappointing compared to like every other Omni's evolutions they got.
Every single variant of Burn Nova is a gimmick.
Yeah, there's nothing that is just like, look at this good card. It's not like Miseria where you just drop it and it's like, okay, that's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Omnidie where it's like, I warp the game and build an entire deck around me.
Yeah. Or Dawn, which can just go in whatever he wants.
Yeah. Dawn to me is still the best Omni Lord that ever got released.
I think Dawn's evolution is better in my opinion, but they're both really strong.
I do really like Distant Days, although the original one can be used pretty effectively in decks like Kaiserian or Armor Knights, where you have that life break limit. So it kind of,
Yeah.
along with some of the other life-paying cards, can
That's
help
true.
you monitor that.
It's sad that like I've used this in only a couple of decks. Like I use them more. My Dragon World deck has just a 5th Boomerang.
Yeah.
That's what he is essentially.
He's a strictly better Boomerang, which is kind of funny. But like,
question: did anyone ever actually try Magical Gun Ricky in a Raging Spirits deck?
I used to have him as my backup in Wall Spirits.
yeah,
Just if I didn't get Billy and Knuckle, I at least had him. He could buff up the weapon and whatever size 0 I had on the field.
Mhm.
And it's not bad if you can get that full field set up and you're threatening consistently with at least 2 crits per attack. The problem is that 5k defense hurts so much.
Why do
Like,
they keep
even
giving
more than-
Raging Spirits low defense?
I don't know. Even more than Venom Nova, everything hits him.
Yeah.
Armor Knight
Yeah.
Battle Boy just makes him cry.
Eventually, I just took him out and played Leadbangers because like
Yep.
at least Leadbangers is a really good card.
That's
Yeah,
exactly
on
what
its
I did.
own.
Yeah. Again, no. Leadbanger is the better card. There was a time when Leadbanger didn't exist.
Yeah.
But the second he did, he took the place of a few cards.
And I haven't played Wall Spirits personally, but do we still play Oni Street, or is Oni Street not in the deck?
Honest Street kind of suffers
Okay.
because Raging Spirits got a weapon that made all their gauge problems not exist.
Okay.
That's true. I never did play him in Wall Spirits to begin with.
Yeah.
Just
Space is the
he
thing.
doesn't really do a whole lot there, and I'll be the first to admit that I haven't done a whole lot with just your average, like normal aggro Raging Spirits deck, so I can't really vouch as to his ability there.
Like I don't have a lot of experience with aggro control since Raging OTK, and I have no experience with like Wall Spirits, so I've never actually ever played Disposition of the Chief.
I play Disposition of the Chief in OTK just because that gauge is huge.
Oh, see, my only item is Scatter Armor Enma for 2 more damage.
I tend to call Command to the side.
Oh, I always just put him in the center with either 2 charging heads or 2 baby Rickies for protection, and then having it.
Makes sense.
Yeah, normally I just play close center. It also helps against stuff like a lot of impacts, especially Dragon Lord, where it's just like, if your opponent has an empty center, no.
I just kind of accept playing Raging OTK that if I don't win that turn, I lose. But
I do have mine built, I guess, a little
probably
bit
should.
less.
I probably should be a bit more like kind of cautious playing it.
Like
I don't.
Like I have my built around if I don't kill for my first attacking turn, then I at least have 1 more turn to attempt a kill.
Yeah.
I try to have 1 more turn. It doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't work out, but I at least have I'll normally have that 1 gauge for a surge in hand and maybe 1 big baby Ricky. If I know I can't kill, I at least use one of my lower dragons for a baby Ricky instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Regarding let's move on since we were kind of talking about it. That's kind of how we move here to Wall Spirits.
Mm-hmm.
It's honestly in how it works and how it functions. It's basically the Raging Spirit flavor of the Arconseal deck,
Mm-hmm.
except it trades the ability of that Arconseal had to completely ignore destruction attacks destruction effects while also refilling your hand constantly with Billy and Knuckles' inherent counterattack.
Yeah.
And just a lot of times to make it so that attacking, it's just a different way of making it so even trying to destroy it, it isn't worth it.
Bushiroad knew how kind of wonky Billy and Knuckle was, or he used to be. Because it's just okay, well, you could save him by either Wrath Trigger, which gives him counterattack he doesn't need, or Glacies, which doesn't let him trigger his counterattack.
Mm-hmm.
Now suddenly we have Surges of Dragons in Life, Baby Ricky, we have the +6/+6 spell. So much stuff has made Billy Knuckles so much better.
Yeah. Well, Billy Nichols.
Dragon against thousands is a thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I run 4 Dragon Against 1000 and 4 Jet Cow in my deck just to buff up his soul as much as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And if they ever make tag fighting a thing, I'm going to be playing Wall Spirits, and whoever I'm teamed up with is going to be using some kind of Danger World with Dangerous Razy.
Crazy.
I can't wait. Like that potentially, like that's like it, like because I am in the tag fight group. That in my opinion is one of the top 10 decks that will be in that format.
Like, everybody is going to want a Danger World partner so
Yeah.
that they can buff soul.
Yeah, like the only thing I think is better than like Raging Spirit Resi is Demon Lord Resi.
Ugh.
Yeah.
That episode
get pretty
was,
disgusting.
oh my god.
Because, like, again, that's the most ridiculous fan I think could ever happen in a team fight, is destroying both players' boards and putting both players at 1 life.
I gotta wonder how that's gonna end up. I don't know. Like, the whole where World End says your opponent, right?
Yeah,
Like, it doesn't say your opponents or whatever.
but
so-
the whole enemy team is your
Right.
opponent.
So, do suddenly all of these cards that say your opponent, like, if I discard Magma Nova, do I deal both of my opponents a damage? Like,
No,
I don't
think,
know if they thought
no,
this
I
out
think,
very
I
well.
think you just deal 1 damage.
But then you have inconsistencies with,
Like,
because I'm pretty sure
It's-
they're worded the same way.
I kind of don't think it's going to be a thing, even though they pushed it. But then they made freaking Relay Fight a thing for Vanguard, so I
Yeah.
have no idea.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it won't be an official like tournament
Yeah.
thing. It potentially until like I would say like the next Spring Fest.
I hope not, just because I'm tired of having to get teams together and then, oh, I might actually not be able to make it that weekend, and just I'm sick of it. I'm tired of it in Vanguard. I really hope it doesn't come to Buddy Fight.
Like I would just be fine if it just being like the substitute to our side events. Like that's what our side events are. You just small little tag fight tournaments.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
that'd be
I would
cool.
play it as a side event.
Yeah.
My only problem is that, like, as a main event, suddenly you're relying on someone else.
Yeah, like I think tag fights and relay fights should first become side events before and have it be tested through like a year cycle, like a Spring Fest or a.
I'm pretty sure that's how Bushiroad handled G regulation when they wanted to try it.
Yeah.
They just had it in side events and just saw how people liked it.
Yeah, and then just have that be, and then if it does get at least, in my opinion, above 50% semi-positive experience from people, then that can be the main event.
I don't think anything should take the main event from the actual game. Being
Like, okay, maybe not tag fight for bite fight, but like I don't know. I would prefer relay fight as a main event than over like.
I think Relay Fight is this absolutely broken format just because they didn't disallow instant victories.
But but when you're instant victory with like let's say Glendios, like I've heard that would just rule that then the next person just goes.
No, Glendio says you win, so that means your team.
Let me
I don't know.
look back at it because I thought Bushroad literally did it on their FAQ where if you do that, if you don't,
I'll look, but even then, your opponent's field is still Omega Lock. You can just do his limit break.
yeah, and try win, and just win against the next person.
Yeah.
And it's like the Omega Glendios to me would be what the second person plays because then they can just they're at 5 damage already and they have Omega Glendios as their vanguard plus like whatever X amount of cards their previous partner left them.
Like I kind of think that this is totally outside of what we should be talking about, but oh man, but like. Something like duos starting, then Glendios, then something else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then, so when it comes to just Ancient World as a whole, what do you think our best Omni Lords of playing are?
Ancient World feels like it doesn't really work too well with other Omni Lords that aren't named Count Dawn. All 3 Count Dawns are highly relevant in Ancient World.
Really? I don't think Twilight Dawn. Like.
Okay. This was just explained to me, but Twilight Dawn with Dragon Baby is Cancer.
Dragon.
Ricky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Baby Ricky.
It's ridiculous. It's just like, all right, so you get essentially not only free Soul Guard off Twilight Count, but your opponent takes the lifelink from your Soul Guard. It's just ridiculous. It's just you sit there, you have a full field. Granted, it does take up the space of your item, but you just tell your opponent, go ahead, try and kill me.
Yeah, take my lifelink. Like
and you'd put baby in the center, so that even if they do that you're clearing your weapon for them.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's a tech thing, and it's like a cute play, but it's like it seems enough that it's worth at least a mention for wall spirits only.
Yeah,
I would put one in the deck just because you've got those situations where it's going to be useful. Maybe you don't have your weapon yet, and also Loyal Dragons and Courage does still search any size 0.
Yeah.
So you can search it out whenever you need it.
Yeah.
Like I think Dawn and Burn Nova are like our only Omni Lords we should be playing.
The only other one that goes well into a deck would be putting Omnidai into Lord's Mix, along with Arkanseel, Severius, and Diablos.
Yeah.
Just because you've got one more thing that can sit in the center. Ancient World is one of the few worlds. They don't do it quite as well as Magic because they do take damage to draw, but they're one of the only ones that can keep a hand enough to maybe keep them around as long as you need them.
Yeah. Or need
what about the other the evil the inverse Omnidai?
The only problem with him is that if you do call something like Severius or Diablos off of him, you don't get the soul.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. So yeah.
Yeah, he's good to call things like Grangadez or Kaiserian because their soul is gained by effects, but if you call something with soul via effect, it's not quite as good.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's when you look at Ancient World, it's like a deck that's like we said, it's very inherent in the world. Like it doesn't reach out for Omni Lords, which can be a bit of a blessing when we're gonna be getting a lot of new Omni Lords that are, let's be real, they're gonna be expensive.
Yeah, like please, like I'd be fine for the first half of season 3, but can our Omni Lords stop being triples? Can we, like the good ones can be triples, the mediocre ones should be doubles.
Well, we have gotten some doubles. The kind of the less important ones like Tenbu SD or Dawn of the Distant Days, ones that aren't like big in the show.
Yeah, but stuff like Venom Nova shouldn't have been a triple.
He did not need to be. It's true.
Yeah, and Emma arguably could have been a double because he's also not important to the show.
Which one? Sorry.
Commandant.
Commandant.
Oh, well, yeah.
Commandant was kind of there to try and sell the sad.
One of his biggest things was that he was the buddy rare in the triple trial deck.
No.
So
yeah, like him being a triple rare in the trial deck, if we got that trial deck, would have been fine. But it's the fact that we never got that and then just had to import all their cards as their normal rarities in a box.
At least he's cheap, though. I think I got my playset for $4 a piece.
Yeah.
He came out. I don't know that he's really gotten much more expensive since then.
I ordered mine.
I remember him going up to like 15 when he had a lot of hype on him. I think he's around 8 now. I'm not sure.
He was only $7.50 a piece when I bought them. Like nothing beats how expensive Burn Nova is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've forgotten to even keep track of Burn Nova because I did get mine when that set released. I had all 5 within like 2 or 3 days. But yeah.
Like I know SP Burn Nova is hitting like $60 at least.
Yeah, that's how much. That is how much I traded for mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a little difficult to get. Which at least in most decks, the most you have to run is 2. But yeah, if you're gonna be playing Commandant, you're gonna need 4 at least.
Yeah, and then
so good luck.
And then Burn Nova is like one of the other Omni Lords where he can work in as a one of in most decks.
Right.
Unless you have a really, really huge problem maintaining gauge.
Like
you run.
Skull Warriors would never run
Yeah.
Burn Nova.
Like, I know Skull Warriors weren't playing, but or Dark Heroes, because they're supposed to kill their opponent, not actually ever be on the brink of losing.
I mean, I would kind of consider playing Burn Nova and Dark Heroes.
Well,
just because gauge is so easy to get.
Yeah, no, I would play it, but it's like one of those things where it's like, if I saw someone with a Dark Hero list not playing Burn Nova, I wouldn't judge them.
Yeah.
I think we all know what deck Burn Nova is really best in. Kaiserion.
Even how
He destroys-
Kaiserion,
Yeah, Kaiserion
die.
just uses a Soul Guard and sits there.
like Kaiserion hasn't done anything, but still.
I think Omnimodai uses him better.
What? You still have to kill for resizing.
Well, yeah, but like you call him and win after they burned all the resources trying to get through Omnidai, and you have the gauge for free.
Oh right, you wouldn't be losing if you still had Omnidai. Well, I guess there's penetrate. But yeah, he's worth running just because that deck also just
Has
has
defense.
like so much gauge is the thing. Like
Yeah.
you between first volume, Never Say Never, and what is the other one? Gap? Is it Gap? Or am I thinking
Yeah.
of something else?
Yeah,
The
They
I know
Paradise
they also
Gauge too?
no, they get gauge from I believe it's the straight.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Battle Wizard the straight.
So they get so much gauge that they can easily drop it after Omnidai finally goes down.
Like my friend who plays Omnidai is always like, I'm gonna run every single Omni Lord inside of it because it just fits.
like Magic World's the deck I've seen can use the most Omni Lords.
Yeah.
I gotta say the most impressive. Okay, we're getting super off track here.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the most,
I
Katana
think
Lord
we
really is
hit all the
most.
decks though.
Yeah.
Is there anything big we haven't hit?
We hit I mean,
Well,
do we have
look
to
at
talk
the
about
cards
Lord
here.
mix by itself without Arconceal?
No.
There's not really a point in running it without Arconceal, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's so important to the deck. But I guess there's
Oh.
pure Diablos, but honestly, that's just another wall deck. You'd run stuff like Loyal Dragons, Dragon
Equals.
Against Thousands, all that. Pretty much anything you'd run to stall in any other wall deck, you'd use in Diablos. Where it's actually kind of interesting because I thought that, oh man, I wish we had another good soul gaining Dragon Lord, because Diablos just is so counterproductive against these things that add soul. But honestly, I started to think about it, or I kind of had it explained to me a little bit, and you get all these buffs from giving him soul, and sure that gets rid of his native buffs, but if they finally do get rid of all the resources, suddenly they have to deal with Diablos.
Yeah.
So,
It's kind of a logic for why Burn Nova is one of the best Omni Lords, because it's like you spend all your resources to kill the opponent, and then suddenly have to deal with a triple attacker.
right.
Yeah. What was I saying? When it comes to Javert as a card, the most ridiculous experience I had with him was at my regionals, where someone played it and put 2 Dragon equals 1,000 into a soul.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
He's really fun to use against decks like Dungeon World, where they've got an open center, they don't really have much shielding to work with.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So you kind of just run through them if they don't have enough.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which is actually why the toolbox in the deck works so well, because it's just like, okay, well, I have Arconceal for this stuff. I can use Makings to search out Diablos or Severius whenever I need them.
Mhm. It's a neat thing, but I'm not sure it does too much more than the Arconceal deck inherently does.
Well, the big thing is one of the big things is having backups. It's kind of the same reason you run other Raging Spirits in a wall deck besides Billy Knuckle, is you're not always going to have Billy Knuckle, and especially with Arconceal not really effectively being searchable outside of that impact, it doesn't really do it.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you'd run those other cards in Arconceal anyway, so
Yeah.
the deck by itself is kind of not.
Yeah, without Arconceal, there's not really a reason to use it.
Yeah.
That's why it's the toolbox. You got something for just about everything you're going to run up against.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got what? NA Continentals, I think Joel got
Third place.
with
Yeah.
it.
Third place with Arkansas Lynn, and then the Adel deck by itself got
Yeah,
first place.
it won.
Well, no, it didn't get second place. I thought Knights
did it?
got. No, Knights got.
Austin,
Knights
Austin
got
got second with Knights.
Okay, but
And
He
then,
won
he won
Worlds.
Worlds.
yeah, but they
Yeah.
swapped places during Worlds, where the Diablos player got second and Austin got first.
Yeah,
At
they
Worlds.
did switch at Worlds.
Yeah,
Merc is
So-
The
strong.
People's Champion became the World Champion that day.
yeah. I thought like Worlds and Cons had the exact same thing happen.
They're very similar.
Yeah. And yeah, like I feel proud of America that day when we got first and second during Worlds.
Let's just put this into perspective for those people who are considering dropping into Ancient World. One of the most irrelevant variants got first in World. Got first in
First in
Continentals
Con.
and then second in Worlds.
Yeah,
You think it'd be irrelevant, but then
Wrong.
yeah. Like that deck. That deck's proven good results throughout its lifetime. Like
Yeah.
it by not doesn't win all the time, but it's like it got third place in it got third place in New York WCQ. Deck
I gotta
won.
say, Atlanta Springfest 2015, first place. There was a lot of hate for Diablos back then when I first started playing it, and ended up actually getting first with it because Seeger was still very popular at the time. I guess there are still places where it is, but there was a lot of resistance to change when
Yeah.
we started getting things that weren't Seeger in Ancient World. People started to kind of freak out a little bit. But Diablos definitely proved himself.
And then, speaking of Diablos as a card, should we talk about quickly, like, when he got revealed back when Golden Buddy Set was A just came out, and the progressive amount of nerfs he kept getting when we got...
Well, not necessarily getting nerfs. It was just we got progressively less and less blurry cards.
Yeah.
Less and less blurry pictures of him. So at first it's like, oh man, he gets like 3,000, and 3 crit. Holy crap, this is
And
amazing.
no, it was 3k power, 3k defense, and 2 crit every
Yes,
time his
yes.
soul hit 0. Like, every time his soul gets 0, he got that buff. And then it became his standard, like, I think it went from, like, 3-3-1 when he has no soul, then to our now 2-2-1 with no soul.
Right. And actually, that's a good point. I think that probably lent a lot to the resistance to Diablos people had, was because, well, he's not as good as we thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like,
so-
why should I
and that's
play
one of the
this better
reasons-
than I could have Spartaned?
I actually didn't play Diablos for a long time. It wasn't until a month or two, I think, before the Atlanta Springfest that I won with it that I actually switched over. I was just like, well, I'm gonna order these. They're cheap online. I'm gonna order and put the deck together. I'll play it for fun. And then I started playing it and realized, wait a minute, this is much, much better.
Yeah.
The big thing was being able to keep cards from hand. Like, giving up 2 cards in hand for Seeger, even if some of them occasionally were like redundant size 3s, still really hurt.
It also
Suddenly-
means you get to run less redundant size 3s.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, not only do you not lose hand, but you don't have to play bad cards anymore.
Actually, one thing from Ancient World we did forget to talk about, and was a size 3 that I've never seen anyone ever drop in my lifetime right now, and that's Galazond.
We're not talking
Oh,
about
God.
that.
So I got into arguments with people on Facebook when Diablos started to get good, because people... Okay, so when you switch to Diablos, you have so much free deck space.
Mhm.
You have all these places that you don't have to run Seegers. And instead of thinking, I should run good cards in those places, people were like, I should run Galeazon. That way, when Diablos dies, I can drop Galeazon. It's like, no, you've thought about this so horribly wrong. So wrong.
I mean, admittedly, it's possible back in the day Ancient World didn't have good cards. I'm not completely sure, but...
Immoral
At one
entities,
point in
like
time.
Immoral entities, Ancient World was nearly unplayable.
If it weren't for the fact that Ancient World just got 2 of the best spells in the game and that extra booster,
Yeah.
it would have been nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But remember before we had like Tempest Enforcer, people were like, Galeazon's not a trash card.
The problem is, like, how are you ever going to drop him? By the time you have the cards in drop, you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it would have been good if like Magma Nova wasn't a bad card. Because like the other 3 are playable. Like Glacis was our null. Vragos was a good body if we didn't
Mhm.
have a 3, and items were everywhere, so Tornado was at least in the sideboard.
Yeah. Dungeon was
I'm
huge back then, so being able to
Yeah.
pop being able to
Glory
pop
Seeker.
Glory Seeker was fantastic.
Like if Magma Nova was substituted with Demonica instead,
Demonica or Fullboka.
yeah,
Yeah. Even then,
yeah,
Even then, it'd be like, oh, I have this dead card I can't use.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
But don't
So
worry,
I've-
there are plenty of other bad 3s in Ancient World.
I mean, he would be playable now if it was for Boka or Demonica because of Sturdy Dragon Strike could set up that drop zone quicker.
I mean, I kind of like the one of Tech Magma Nova and Arc-and-Seal, just because it helps close the game
Consistently
a
burn.
bit.
Mhm,
Because it's consistent burn that keeps going back to your hand.
mhm.
You know what I
But-
really want to try in Ancient World is to
What?
finally use what's its name, Misty Envy. The
Yeah.
size 0 that when your opponent takes damage, you draw a card
Yeah, whenever they take damage
by
by
burn.
by
Effect damage. So now not only do we have Magma Nova to discard that,
We have that 100
deal.
demon size 2, I think.
we have the 100 Demon Size 2, Igneal, but we also have the Venom armor. So you
Yeah,
stay
oh,
alive and deal
yeah.
damage to the opponent. So you equip that and you've got consistent burn. So, like, it's bad, but I kind of want to try it. Like, think about having, you've got a size 3 on your field, and then Twilight Count and Misty Envy.
yeah. Back in early
Oh, wait, no,
Diablo's
it's
time.
Pale Life,
Back in
sorry.
early Diablo's time, one of my favorite 3s to play, like Dragon, like size 2s to play back in the day was Evolution.
Was that the +1 crit?
Yep.
Didn't we only just now get that in Buddy All Stars? In English?
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't play like early Diablos in like RL.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest, and while I really like a lot of the old ancient world decks, I got into it with Raging Spirits like later on
See, I played it from day one. Like, I went
Yeah.
to my locals and bought like 3 extra booster boxes and built Seeger.
Yeah.
And everyone hated me because at the time, that was like the first big wall deck. It blew everybody's minds. If you could get him on the field, like, you just won games until
And it still
people
lost the
started to
dungeon.
realize.
Hmm.
Well, that's the thing. It would if the dungeon player was smart. Like, if they sideboarded Rolling Stone,
Yeah.
like GG.
Like again, but like I played Ancient World from day one, and then took a break for a while. But like only because at the time I was Armor Knights, and I thought, okay, this stuff is better than Armor Knights we have right now.
Yeah, Armor Knights went through a rough patch there for a while.
I still have a grudge of Fushiro because of early Armor Knights.
But it's okay. They gave us our Lord and Savior Iblis. So.
Like no, like America, like I forgive him now, but like still, when like we got Dragon Chief, and then we get like Valor, which just made Dragon World the stupidest thing for like that 2 months until Set 2 came out.
And then it's that 2 armor, like, Danger World in total got less than 10 cards or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the super old, yeah.
I got like 2
Yeah.
cards I could play, which was Giraffa and Rahal.
Yeah, Rahal
Rahal-
is still beautiful.
Raha is still
beautiful monster.
good, and Giraffa helped back during those days of just having a double attacker that
Yeah.
wasn't demon.
Yeah.
I think we've hit all the bullet points.
Yeah, we've hit all the big decks and some of the small ones.
Well, what do you small
Just
question?
to let you viewers know that
Mhm.
Ancient World's a really fun, cool deck if you like having a defensive game plan, and some offensive ones. It's gotten pretty diverse now with
Yep.
all the different Raging Spirits builds, and
Yeah.
if you want more specifics, you can always hit me up if you want. But in general, like, World's cool, play it.
Yeah, I recommend to all you Vanguard veterans, you're playing the same game.
Right?
Yeah.
Just like protect the Vanguard. Protect yourself.
Speaking of Vanguard, that was one of the I got into Raging Spirits because I played because of the Vanguard decks I play. I love brawlers for their aesthetic, and that was Raging Spirits. And the deck I played a lot was Glendios and Rubidium, moving it to the side. Moving the attacks to a specific card was a thing.
Yeah. Question about like just Raging Spirits comparing ball. How do you feel about Emma's Japanese voice actor being Naoki? How did that make you feel when you heard that?
It was the greatest thing. It was literally the greatest thing.
But it's also a little sad because his English voice actor was amazing.
He was!
He was so good.
Yeah.
But I'm glad at least, like, one of the best things in the Buddy Fight anime so far has been that fight between Ban and Imma. Or Ban and Gemma. Because of their voice actors were just, like verbally beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, and then you had that little 10-second fight scene with Venom Nova and Burn Nova just punching the crap out of each other.
What up, Muda? Oh my god, it was pretty great.
Yeah,
that was probably the best episode.
It was pretty good. But unless you guys can think of anything big we haven't hit on that we've missed, I think we might be just about at the end of this.
I think we're good. The only thing I can describe to Seeker players is please don't scream out Dual Seeker or the judges potentially might DQ you.
If you're going to do it, you better be damn good at it.
Yeah. Because I've not seen it happen, but I've heard that like people get warnings from judges for screaming that out.
It happened my first regional.
Really?
I haven't. It did. Although I didn't hear anything about a warning or anything. Someone just screamed it out.
Like,
you hear a lot of, it's time to raise the flag, and then just, Seeger!
The only thing I hear that people Dual Seekers do is they have like they have their little iPod or iPhone just do dun 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 when Dual Seeker drops.
Oh my god, it's too good. Oh.
When Dual Seeker somehow becomes like the tier 1 deck for Ancient World,
please, Bushiroad.
Someone the NA group immediately needs to make a post of John Cena's head on Seeger's head and have it be.
I thought that was a thing already.
Is here. Like it's.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You could quote me on this. Someone like screen cap this part of the video. Seeger's going to get an impact monster. At some point, they're gonna do it.
Okay.
I'll be sad when the raging stop coming, but if it's to bring Seeger back, it'll be a worthy cause.
I need that to happen where just someone goes with Dual Seeker or Genma and it just being captioned, "The champ is here."
All right.
I think we've hit Ancient World.
I think so too.
Good talking with you guys,
talk.
and
Yeah,
hope you viewers try out the deck.
Yeah.
Peace out.